Impromptu speech. Okay, so it's pretty common melody. But if you think about it, a job interview is an opportunity for an impromptu speech.
That's true.
A telephone conversation with customer service or a relative, that's an opportunity for an impromptu speech. A meeting with your boss or your fellow coworkers is absolutely an opportunity for an impromptu speech, especially if you get called on for a question. So today I would like to go over, as our wonderful Toastmaster introduced for me, impromptu speaking. And it's such an important skill that a lot of us really could use a good amount of honing in on. And I feel that if you do get a lot of practice, you'll begin to enjoy it. You'll stop fearing the practice of impromptu speaking. So I'd like to share with you first and foremost a 5-step formula for getting ready to speak impromptu. First step is to listen. Okay, and this is the most crucial part. Someone's going to be asking you a question or asking you to present a topic, and you need to have a clear understanding of what that is. So a good idea would be to close your eyes, take a deep breath, give your mind a little burst of oxygen, and then quiet your mind, quiet your body, and just concentrate on what that question would be. For today's example, let's say for table topics, I would ask all of you, if you were to be president of the United States, what 3 things would you change about America today? Next step is a pause. And that pause creates a little suspense, but it also lets you start to think about what you're going to say. What 3 things? Public transportation? Healthcare? Our banking system? Those could be good things I could talk about. So a little pause before you speak gives you a little bit of an opportunity to just digest that question and get ready for your response. Next step would be to confirm the question. And this is another great exercise. It gives you a little more time to recite back what that question was. So if I was to be the impromptu speaker and I was just given my question, I could say, if I was to be president, what 3 things would I change about America today? That would confirm to the audience what you're about to speak about, and also confirms to the person who gives you the topic if you got it correctly. If you made a mistake in your listening process, they can correct that. The next step is just to start talking, the tell. All right? And this is where you go full in, all in, just with your best ability, share what you came up with. What is your idea? What is your thought process? Okay? And go into specifics. I mean, this is your time to shine. This is your stage. So in your impromptu speech, no one's going to be able to tell you you're doing it wrong or that's a bad idea. This is your time to communicate to your audience what you have to say regarding your topic or question. And the last step is the end. Basically, this is where you need to think about how I need to wrap this up, and kind of going back onto the last step. You don't want to go off into 17 different tangents. You want to appropriately explain what you feel or your opinion, however, but you don't want to go off and keep rambling because that's the easiest way to kill an audience's attention. Is just to keep talking. So just finish what you have to say, smile, you're done. Next portion of today's presentation are specific strategies you can use to create your impromptu talk. First one I have is creating an opinion. So a good example of in my sample question, my sample question about the 3 things I would change about America, public transportation. You could say for a specific opinion. In my opinion, the American public transportation system is pretty poor, especially in Florida. And I think bringing enhancements to public transportation would really help a lot of people, especially folks that can't afford to have an automobile. Another method is, oops, there you go. One step ahead. Address a cause and effect. So on that same thought process, you could say, hey, well, I'm going to change the public transportation system. It's going to be affordable and efficient for everybody. But what is when the pendulum swings the other way, what happens? The auto industry isn't going to be in a decline. We're going to sell less cars. There are going to be less mechanics. Fossil fuels sales will go down. So, there's definitely a cause and effect perspective you can add to your impromptu speech. Next one is breaking the topic into components. So I'll use my second idea about healthcare. You can break that down into so many different components about the price of pharmaceuticals, how Diane pays $4 for a prescription, I have to pay $800 for the same prescription. We have different insurance carriers. There's just so many different ways you can break out your thoughts rather than just answering the question. Transportation, healthcare, banking system, I'm done. No, you can say, hey, specifically, this is what I think is wrong in this specific component, and make your points. Just, spread your thoughts. The last strategy I have is past, present, and future. And this is just basically creating a timeline for your point. Going back to healthcare. You say, America started, we didn't have a healthcare system. Medical science was in its infancy. And along with our industrialization, our medical science system grew. And it kind of latched onto our free market. But now, I don't believe that is a good idea anymore. I think for our future, for us to have healthy children, to carry on our American traditions and our customs, it's really important that we restructure our healthcare system. So 3 points I want you to take away from my presentation today is be confident. Again, this is your stage, so you cannot be wrong. Don't worry about people doubting you or what you say is not the right thing. No, that's not the point. You need to speak with confidence because your audience will see that perspective in your presentation and understand that they will believe what you have to say if you speak with confidence. Be brief. Going back on to one of my earlier points and going on different tangents, you just basically want to say what you need to say and be done. We are living in an age where attention is at an all-time low. People get bored very quickly. So if you do not keep their attention, just get to your point, make your most important points, and be done. They'll lose interest. They'll forget about what you even had to say in the first place. And lastly, be sincere. And this goes back to that confidence piece. You're speaking from the heart. If you really believe that this is the correct expression, idea, answer to the question that you've been given, go with it. Speak from the heart, and then your audience will go along with you. They'll believe that that is truly what you think, and they'll buy in to your message. So, ladies and gentlemen, in summary, I would just like to say that with impromptu speaking, I encourage you to practice as much as you can. Get good. It will no longer become scary to you. It will actually become exciting. When you get called on for table topics or a meeting at work, you'll be like, what am I going to say? I can't wait. I can't wait for them to call me. It'll be fun. It'll turn from something you fear to something you find fun. In other words, something you find auspicious. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. This returns back to you.